I didn't time that quite right. I'm still learning how to do that. I don't know how to connect them very good. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Ocean Garnet. Hi, everybody. Emerald Buddha, Sonia. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deann, and this is Deann Shield Maiden Tarot, and I read on paranormal, politics, and personal. My very favorite is Friday when I get to read with Tanya on paranormal. So, and if you don't know this lady, if it's your first time here, this is Tanya Stingley, Tea Time with Tanya, and tell them what you read on, the ones that don't know you, on your channel.
I read on everything. I read on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I have my live shows on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's at 10:10, and on Fridays it's at 11:11. It's interactive. I answer whatever questions the audience has. So if you get a mini read, if you want a mini read, if you want to ask about politics, it is an open forum. So we discuss whatever is on everybody's mind, and we have a good time.
Yeah, sure. Her show is awesome. You need to check it out. And I forgot to tell you too, I also have a little shop called Manifest Shop USA, and it's the link is up above our heads there, manifestshop.net, if you want to check it out. It's just selling essential oils in bottles. It's roller bottles with crystals, and I put the crystals with the right oils and herbs and resins to help you manifest different things that you're trying to manifest in your life. But you can go to the site and find out all about it. And you can also, if you look in the description box, it has my phone number. You can call me if you need a reading or you want information on it. Tanya's link and everything is in there too, if you want to get a hold of her. To ask her for a reading or anything. But today we decided that, Miss Tarot D may show up too. I don't know if she's going to show up or not, so we're hoping.
I saw her name in the chat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I talked to her yesterday. She was walking home, and I got to see a little bit of New York in the Bronx. She was showing me all the, apartments and stuff. It reminded me of Seinfeld, with all the cars parallel parked and the fire escapes. It's kind of cool. So I thought what we would talk about today, because we have a full moon today, and I always thought about full moons make me think of werewolves and vampires and all those sorts of things. So this is a little bit on the line of werewolves and vampires. There is a creature, I want to pull it up here, that we're going to talk about, and it's called, and if you have heard of him, or if you have seen him, or if any of you have any experiences with this, put it in the comments and let us know. But I'm going to read you a little bit, and then I want to show you a couple videos. It's called, it's a folklore. It's called the Michigan Dog Man, and I don't live too far. I'm a state over from Michigan. It was a creature allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan, United States. It was described as a 7-foot-tall, blue-eyed or amber-eyed, canine-like, bipedal canine-like animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to legend, the Michigan Dog Man appears in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending in 7. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. Many believers in the Dog Man claim that simply clapping will scare them away. This creature was unknown to most of modern world until very late in the 20th century. It's said to have been stalking the area around the Manistee River since the days of when the Odawa tribes lived there. The first alleged encounter of the Michigan Dog Man occurred in 1887 in Wexford County, when 2 lumberjacks saw a creature which they described as having a man's body and a dog's head. In 1937, in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of the 5 walked on 2 legs. Reports of similar creatures have come from Allegan County in the 1950s and Manistee and Cross Village in 1967. A lot of people think this Michigan dog man protects the native lands of that area. And so I'm going to try to show you guys a video on it. I've got a few videos and then we're going to talk about it and see what you guys think. And maybe we can talk about it, read cards, do a pendulum, answer questions about it. So let's see. So I'm going to share screen and get my glasses on. Okay. Let's see which one is this. I want to get the one I want to get here. Okay. Let's try this one.
Belief in the Michigan dogman peaked in the 90s. Cryptozoologist Nora Sanchez led an expedition into the remote northern woods, determined to find evidence of the creature's existence. Using drone thermal imaging, her team discovered the partially hidden entrance to an expansive underground cave network deep in the forest. Descending through the winding caverns, of animal bones and unsettling claw markings hinting at the dogman's existence. Ancient petroglyphs etched on the walls depicted a tall wolf-like beast walking upright on two legs. Convinced the cryptid still roamed the woods, Nora sought out the advice of local tribal elders. Taking out a remote cave late one night based on their directions, her entire crew mysteriously went missing overnight, leaving only their shredded, partially eaten camping gear behind. Many now believe the dogman moved its nocturnal brood deeper into the cave system, still actively hunting the Michigan woods and aggressively protecting its territory from outsiders.
Okay, that's one, and I'll show you one more here. So that's kind of, and that was a lot of those hieroglyphics reminded me of that Egyptian type writing that was in that cave. And I'll show you one more just to see here. And then I've got a few of them. So I'm just going to show them all. See here. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, we got somebody here. Hey, Miss Tarot D. How are you?
Hi,
you look beautiful.
You are too kind.
Y'all glitzy.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, Tanya.
Hello, Miss Tarot D. Hello.
Hello, and happy belated Juneteenth to you.
Oh, to you as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, we all celebrate.
Did you do a show on that?
I did.
You did.
Wait. Yes, I did. I did a show. Yes, I did a Juneteenth show. It happened to fall on Wednesday.
Beautiful way to celebrate.
Well, I apologize. I know that we're freezing a lot. We may be freezing and going in and out on you. I have been having trouble with my internet all day. It went out in all of Illinois. ITV internet went out in all of Illinois. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do the show or not. But I'm not the only one. Linda G, I watched her show and she was freezing, and Sterling was freezing, and they were going in and out. So it's a full moon tonight, and something's going on with everybody's internet tonight.
Oh, we're a big change.
But it's so nice to see.
Well, thank you for inviting me along.
What'd you say? Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm just digging. I am digging Miss Tarot D's outfit. You look fabulous.
I know. Look at all this.
Thank you.
I told her I need her to come do my makeup.
Oh, that's pretty.
That is pretty.
And
the glasses. I just love the glasses.
Yes, my producer made these for me. Aren't they lovely?
Right.
So good. Yes.
Oh, your producer made those for you, huh?
Yes.
How about
producers / husband / cook / housekeeper / lover / everything.
Well, those are the best slashes.
Everything. More and more.
Oh, but you all look so gorgeous
Yeah,
today. I'm so
got a
happy
good
to be
husband.
Yes. Yes,
I
I
am
see the
too.
delay.
Well, we're talking today about the yeah, you see it? You see how it's doing? It's
Yeah.
just kind of keeps freezing. So you guys bear with us. We're sorry. We just there's something going on with everybody's internet today, including mine. So, but we were talking about the Michigan Dog Man. Have you ever heard of that, Miss Tarot D?
No, I mean I
Am
dated
I
a lot of
delayed?
dogs, but I've never heard of the Michigan Dog Man. I know a couple in New York City
Well,
that I could recommend to you.
Well, I thought because we are it's a full moon and it got me to thinking about werewolves and vampires, and there are two things. There's one that's called the Michigan Dog Man, and he is known around Michigan, has been seen since like the 1800s. There's
Oh,
an Indian tribe. I was telling everybody that a lot of people thinks he defends that territory there. I was telling Tanya that I watched this video. There was an hour-long video of this guy, and he still has bad dreams today. Him and his friends, when they were about 11, 12 years old, they had a place in the woods that had like a oh, what was it? Like, you know how you have your clubhouse when you're boys, you have these clubhouses.
mhm,
Well,
mhm.
they had this, they went to, and they snuck out and they went there at night. And there was this dog man. He stands about 7, 8 feet tall. He had bright red eyes and a growl and sometimes screams like a human. And anyway, it terrified him. One of them wet their pants. The other kid that froze, couldn't move. Some of them wanted to run, but they were afraid he'd catch them. Some of them wanted to stay. Anyway, it was this long story. This guy has nightmares to this day, but they all four kids, when they did escape, when he finally they got him to go away, and they ran all the way home, and they told the kid that was froze, you got to come, we're leaving you. And so when they came home, they all told their parents together so that they would know this is not a made-up story from one kid or the other, and they all verified each other's stories. Well, most of the parents told them it's all in your head, get out of here, get your imagination, how parents tell kids. One of them was a cop. Their dad was a cop. And he said, absolutely, I know what you're talking about. Lots of things that has been seen in those woods by other people. You kids, you need to stay away from there. It's dangerous. And this guy said, and he's in his 40s now and still has nightmares of this dog man. And it stands like a man. And it just the paws was, had claws, and it was just really scary. So people still see this in Michigan, in certain areas of Michigan. And I just posted a little video, and I'm going to show one more here. I've got a few more, but I'm going to show one more, and then we can talk about it. And the other one is a chupacabra, and that is known, I was talking about vampires. That is a creature that has been seen in Puerto Rico, and a lot of people believe in them. And it's for goat sucker. And he has fangs and sucks the blood of goat. So
Yes.
I'll try to share my screen and see if I can and do it again.
And
so let's see. I'm going to try to.
You have quite.
I'm looking to see which it is. I don't want to do this. Okay, let's see if this is it. All right, not that one. Okay, I'm gonna hit okay. All right, let me go back here to share, stop screen. Hey guys, sorry about this. Share screen. My internet's just freezing up on me. Okay. Let's see. See if I want. Okay. This is another girl's experience, but let's see.
Story that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely
not even crazy. So if anybody has answers as to what the fuck I seen,
sorry about the
let me know in the
language,
comments. So we would stay at my great grandmother's house. That was huge property, by the way, like huge. and it was a family reunion. We were the first ones to get there that night. And in the room that we stayed in was a huge, huge room. It was able to fit 3 beds, 3 queen beds, and a wardrobe in the corner, and like our suitcases. It was a really big room. In that big room, if you've been to Mexico, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the windows that are blurry that are usually found in like shower doors. So like you could see like figures on the other side. It's just that it's like not clear. So this door had that window, and that door lets you use like a smaller room. So I slept on a bed with my younger sister. Keep in mind, I'm 3, so my sister has to be like 1.5, maybe 2. Um, which is the furthest one away from the door. It's like the very corner. Next to us is another queen bed, and that's my parents. And then across from us is another bed on the corner by that door, and it's my older sister. She's sleeping by herself on that bed. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. So sick. I woke up in the middle of the night to tapping sounds. I remember sitting up in my bed and looking around the room like, what is that? And everybody was sleeping. My dad's snoring, like everybody's knocked out. All the lights are off. The only light that is in the room is the moonlight. There is a window in that big room, and it's like I remember being so high, and the moonlight is casting in. Now, on the other side of that little small room is also a window on the same side of the wall, and you can see the moonlight also casting in that other side of the room because it's bright in. So I remember looking into that small room, right? I saw this hairy dog-shaped man. Now, remember, it wasn't clear. I only saw like the outline of his face, and I remember his face looked like a Yorkie. Like it was a big snout, and like I could see the hair. But one thing I will never forget is its long fingers and nails. I swear to God, it was like a horror movie. Like his he was making the tapping sounds, and I could see how long his fucking nails are. And I remember him pointing at me, so he'd do this and then point at me and then he would do this for me to come and open the door for him. Now, that sounds bizarre, but I remember him. I could see him visibly getting upset because I wasn't going to open the door. And I remember shaking my head and being like, no, I'm not going. I felt so scared, like something, I don't know what it was. It just something was telling me, don't go open that. And I see him start getting frustrated and walking back and forth. So he would like walk that way, past the window, walk that way, past the so start pacing around, and then he'd stop at the door again at the little window and start tapping again. And would just continue to point and have point down so for me to open the door. I remember that my parents said that I woke them up. I was screaming, that I kept saying that there was a dog man. There's a dog man outside the window. My dad thought it was a man, like trying to lure me outside. And so he hopped on the roof that is like right by that window where my sister's at. And no one's seen anything. So my mom had to calm me down. She said that she went back to bed. She put me back to bed. But I remember like the lights going on and he wasn't there anymore. As soon as the lights go off, everybody falls back to sleep. He starts tapping again and he's there again. I remember I was so petrified that I slept with the covers over my head and I woke up the next morning. And apparently, I wasn't the only family member who has seen this dog man on the property. 2 other people that I know in my family, like distant relatives, have also seen what this creature was, and they actually seen it, like its face. To this day, I don't know what the fuck it was. I don't know if it's like it just felt whatever it was, it felt ancient. I don't know what it was, but if I close my eyes, I can put myself back there, and I remember vividly what he was doing, how he was pacing, how he looked, those nails, the fingers. It was something like fucking Pennywise would do. I have not stayed in that property in like 20 plus years, but yeah, If anybody knows what it was, what it possibly may be, let me know.
Okay, now I have other stories, but how would you guys feel if can you imagine how scary that had to be? And now that one was in Mexico. So apparently these dog men are not just in Michigan. They must be in other places too. So what do you guys, how do you guys pick up anything of what you think that could be, or do you believe her? Do you believe
I believe her.
Yeah.
that this is a real thing?
So
I do too.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, so two things.
I do.
One is-
I do. I'm gonna
We're good.
go ahead. I was just changing some setting to see if it would help.
So there's definitely dog people and cat people. I totally believe in that. However, there's also a medical condition. When my
I know.
younger brother was in school, there was a family from Mexico, little children, and the sister who was a teenager, and they had hair that grew all over their faces.
Mhm.
A picture of it, and when I saw them, I was like, "Oh my God, they look like werewolves."
They do.
It's an actual medical condition. So
Mhm. I
what
have a
was the
video on that too. I didn't. I do have a video on that. I don't know if I have time to put it up, but I do have one on my phone if we have time. But yeah, they grow it all over their face, all over their body, and they can shave it, and the next day it will be back. And a lot of them have joined circuses in the past and years gone by, and they would be represented as a wolf man or a dog man because they couldn't get jobs otherwhere, and it's useless for them to try to shave it off. Children even grow hair all over their face, but this creature I think is different, with the long claws and the, you know what I mean, living in the woods and the red eyes that these people have seen, that's 7 foot tall. But there are people with that condition too. I feel so bad for them, but because I'm sure that would be a hard thing for kids in particularly.
Well, it's also a hard thing for drag queens. I have to shave twice a day just to keep that. Oh, outside, look like that bearded lady. Stop it. Tanya, don't laugh at me. You're such an evil bitch. I mean, witch.
Well,
I'm not evil. I am not evil. Before the show, I have a hair right here. I'm sitting here digging, trying to get it out of my face. Don't think just because we grow beards too.
oh yeah. Let's see. I want to just sit there and ask. I'm going to ask my pendulum. Is the Michigan dog man real?
Yes.
Yes. Do they only live in Michigan? No.
No.
Are they there to protect lands? Okay, I feel like they came from that Osawa or whatever, I can't pronounce it, Indian tribe, Native American tribe, and I wonder if they are there to protect. You're gonna throw some cards on it, Tanya? See what you get. Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm going to tell you what my intuition is saying, though. My intuition is saying that these dog men, this dog breed of people, this is an ancient breed. They may have been known by some Native American or Native tribes, but they are their own race of beings. They don't belong to anybody. They may align themselves with certain people who walk the way that they walk and respect nature the way that they respect them. So there may be some mutual, one hand washes the other. But I believe that this what they call the dog man is a specific group of beings, just like the Sasquatches and the
Right.
Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking, remember at the very first video we showed to Mr. It showed where they had found this cave and it had all kinds of hieroglyphics and ancient Egyptian type things on the wall, and it went very deep. And they could not go all the way in that. And it makes me wonder, there used to be in Egypt, there used to be wasn't there like a god that had a face of the dog? What was he called? The kind of face of a
Anubis.
you know, Anubis, yes, and that people worshipped. And could he have been an ancestor from that, being that they found this cave with all the hieroglyphics in it?
I totally, why not? Why not?
Why not?
It makes you wonder. So let's see. I'll show you. See if I got one more here to share with you. But I did have that one. I almost put that on here too. About, let's see.
I mean, there's people out there with all kind of faces. There's some people that look like rats. Some people look like.
What was you saying?
I said there's
Cat
people out there. Yeah, and rat people. I would just think that a dog person from Mexico would look more like a little chihuahua.
The one in Mexico, the one that's a chupacabra, is kind of almost like a lizard looking type creature. So I've got some of them too. So I'll see here. Let me see what I got here. I'm going to see which one I could show you. Okay, let's see. Let's try this one.
So, I'm supposed to just talk about Luca Reading, right? Yeah. Your experiences. All right. So, I bought this land out here a few years back, and the property was cheap and all. It's a good location. I figured I could move my trailer over here or build me a little house or something. And I was out here checking it out one day. Parked my little car up yonder by the road and walked down to check out home sites where I could put the trailer and the well and the septic and all that. And I'll tell you what, I had a little shotgun with me, snakes and all, and I heard this noise back by my car. So I go over there to look at it, and there's this big thing over there by my car. And I said, well, what the hell is that? Maybe it's one of them panthers I keep seeing out here. So I get closer, and the thing was about this tall. It was about 4 feet from the ground. And right at the shoulder, I said, man, that's the biggest thing I ever saw. Well, maybe it's a deer, and it's kind of dark out. And I get a little closer, and well, I'll tell you what, that thing reared up, and it was huge. It's huge. And it kind of looked at me, and it started walked off in the woods. And I tell you what, I dropped my gun and ran. And when I come back, I figured the thing was gone. I picked my little gun up. I went to get in my car. And as I was backing up, that thing ran up at my car, bam, plowed into the side of it and left a big old dent in the side. Now, it's not the only time I've seen this thing either. I was coming home from my little job down there in Lumberton, and coming up the Highway 11, middle of the night, kind of foggy out, and I see this critter coming across the street. I slowed my car down, and I looked at me. It was the same thing. It was like a wolf-looking creature, and it snarled its teeth up at me and jumped down in the ditch. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what it is, but it's scary. Lately, since we started seeing these big old wolf-looking things out here, to tell you what, we've got animals mutilated. There's cows, their whole bellies ripped out. There's dogs with their heads ripped off. And I lost 3 dogs and a sheep last week. My neighbor had half his head of cattle just shredded. At first, we thought it was like the alien stuff you see on the TV, but then they kept seeing this like giant dog thing, and you could hear it howling off in the woods, and the animals all start panicking. My neighbor down yonder had 7 of his goats killed in one night, and my other neighbor had a few of his cats come up missing, children come up missing and mutilated off in the woods, and we thought it was a serial killer, but we don't know what this thing is. It's scary.
So yeah, for one thing, she dropped her gun and ran. Why would you drop your gun and run? I thought, I'm sorry, if I think some huge wolf-like creature is coming after me, I'm keeping the gun with me. I'm running with the gun. Wouldn't you?
I'm sorry, that lady's story took too many twists and turns for me.
All right, let's see what else we got here. See if you believe this one. Some of them, that's what I want to put them up here for. What do you believe? What do you not believe?
Lurking in Texas, among the vast wilderness of the Lone Star State and beyond, a strange and dangerous cryptid is waiting to strike. Meet El Chupacabra. In the
Oh,
beginning, a
chupacabra.
series of mysterious livestock attacks rocked rural towns all over Puerto Rico in the mid-90s. Nobody knew what was going on, and they blamed it on El Chupacabra, which means the goat sucker. Farmers would find their goats exsanguinated with puncture wounds in their throats, with no answer as to what was killing their livestock. In Canovenas, not long after the sightings began, Madeline Tolentino was visiting her mother's house when she looked out the window and saw the creature in the backyard. It was a long-limbed, earless creature with spines on its back. Its eyes were massive and red, its skin grayish-green and reptilian in nature. Whatever this thing was had its eyes locked on her through the window. She screamed, and then the creature jumped off into the jungle. In the following months, hundreds of sightings and livestock attacks were reported all over Puerto Rico, even spreading to Latin America and U.S. states like Florida and Texas. Some have reported seeing this creature with bat-like wings, while others have reported a hairless, dog-like version of the animal with spines on its back. Theories began to spring up, suggesting that the chupacabra was an alien or an escaped genetic experiment, although most of the canid sightings are believed to be. But what do you think of the chupacabra? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what state you want.
So that one, I
Yes.
wonder, there was two animals that were being transported to the zoo. They were odd animals, kind of a weird animal, and they got away. And it was in that area. And I wonder, part of me wonders if they mated and created an odd type of character, or do you think that they are alien, or do you think that they are something supernatural? What are you guys feeling on that one?
So, Tanya, if I can. So while we were watching, I was shuffling my tarot cards and saying, is this a real truth? And look at the card that came up.
Oh, dang.
Ooh.
Oh,
Doesn't that look like the animal?
yes.
Right?
It
Exactly
does.
what it showed.
Okay. So here's my Miss Tara D, purely scientific, PhD about nothing, geneticist who knows nothing about genes, opinion on all this.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you've talked a little bit about this on your show. Off the coast of Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
the government was doing a lot of bombing and experimenting, and people have spaceships come up from the waters, and they also have this luminous water there that glows at night. So I feel that maybe with all this radioactivity, all this alien technology, all this stuff going on, that maybe it was something that was created and somehow escaped.
That sounds like that's possible. Yes. What do you think? I see you're getting something,
please,
Tanya.
please let me interject.
Please.
Okay, in the middle of the ocean, there is an island, almost like Dr. Moreau's Island, where they have all of these quote unquote government experiment mashed together animals. This is controlled by governments from around the world. So something escaping from there, because they're doing literal mad scientist stuff over there.
Yes.
And we were talking, there was a question on my show today. They were asking if Putin was still trying to make his super ape army, where they were back in the 80s or 70s. He was actually trying to make superhuman apes to be soldiers. And they were doing this now. And I want to say this, I know it's a little bit off subject, but Russia has some type of a contract, some type of a treaty with an alien group of beings that are providing Russia with weapons and ships. Yes, and not to get off subject, but just so everybody is aware right now, Russia has got subs surrounding America.
Wow. You know, that got me thinking, have any of you ever read any Dean Koontz books?
Yes.
There was a book that I read called The Watchers, and this is reminding me of that. The Watchers was the government did, like you said, and a lot of stuff you read, a lot of stuff you see on TV, you know, they get it from somewhere. But they did experiments with animals, and they would take genetics from this animal to make superhuman type war. Like they might take an ape with this animal or this animal and this DNA. And in the book, they had made this animal out of an ape and I forget what else. And it was a warlike, angry fangs. You know, it was supposed to be used for war. And then they had this dog that they made and genetically made the dog super, super smart, abnormally smart. And anyway, they both, the creature escaped and the dog escaped trying to find the creature, and the creature's going around and that dog is trying to find it. And it was a really good book if you get a chance to read it, called The Watchers by Dean Koontz. But it kind of, this does give me vibes of that, because our government does do experiments like this, genetic experiments that we know nothing about. And what if, like you guys said, what if it escaped into the woods? And when they find something like this, the government always covers it up. They always cover it up. They always try to get people to shut up about it.
Yes.
So let me see. Is the chupacabra, was it a genetic experiment? I'm getting yes. Okay, stop. Was Dogman a genetic experiment? No. Was Dogman something ancient? Show me stronger. Okay, I'm getting Dogman is something different. Dogman, I'm getting something ancient, but the chupacabra, I feel, is a combination. They say it looks like a lizard. Some people say it looks like a dog. It has scales. What if it was genetically a dog and a lizard mixed?
You
or
remember
something like
back in the 70s? Back in the 70s, the Inquirer was always talking about they found the dog boy or the bat boy. The bat boy. Remember Bat Boy? And they always had the picture of the kid with wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about it. Just like in Men in Black, what if
Yes.
Inquirer rags and everything was literally telling us when different cryptids or aliens had hit the planet?
Yes. Yeah,
because
because
that was a timeline.
there are men in black. There's been people that seen them. There was a guy who saw an Anunnaki alien up in the mountains, and he tried to go back, and the FBI followed him, came to his house, told him to stay away, told him to go back. When they seen he came back again, there was a guy who was in in Russia. He was talking about how the Russians have fought aliens, Anunnakis, and they had captured one, and they tried to do experiments to try to find out what would kill it, what would hurt it. You know, they tried this, they tried that, and it ended up being sound frequency that was the thing that hurt it. And so I think our government knows so much that they don't tell us.
Yes. Yes.
Catholic Church, they know so much that they don't tell us. You know, I don't know why they keep it all from us, unless it's just they think, well, you know, if we can't get along with each other on this earth, everybody is fighting over stupid stuff, religion, skin color, sexual orientation. We got to fight about that. How would we feel if we knew there was a whole nother breed of species? You know, do they think people would panic? People probably would. Some.
Well, I mean, we already know what people will do. Just from the things that they have been putting in the sky now, people have been grabbing their AR-15s and shooting up in the air. Yes. People are stupid. They're panicky meatbags. And that's what the government is banking on. They're banking on people acting erratically, acting just stupid, because it'll give them a reason. You know, 2020 was a test run, y'all. 2020 was a test run. They showed exactly how easy it was to stop every person on this planet from moving.
That's right. Just tell them there's no toilet paper, and everybody freaks out. You know.
That is true. That is true.
I'm a believer that FBI should stand for Federal Bureau of Interruptions.
Yes.
Not investigation, because it seems that any time somebody makes headway to unraveling one of these mysteries, they show up and they interrupt everything and create confusion. So that, and not, we all know why they don't want us to know, because knowledge is power.
Right.
Knowledge
So who knows? Does the president know? Did Trump know? Does Biden know? Or is this even over them? Because I feel like not even certain presidents are in the know about these things. So that means there are people, the president is not the hierarchy of it all. There are people, I think, over him.
The president of the United States is nothing but a figurehead. He is a 4-year CEO. That is it. He has no real power. Who runs this country are the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the Bilderberger Group.
Yes. The billion-dollar, trillion-dollar families who've been accumulating wealth throughout history. You know, and you asked about the Catholic Church, and I listen. If I offend someone because they're Catholics or something, listen. I'm just talking straight, okay?
Entertainment purposes only.
Right. There was a wonderful TV show on Netflix about one of the popes, and the tagline was "The Original Mafia Family."
Borgias, the Borgias.
Yes.
Yes, I watched it. Oh my gosh. It was horrible. The cardinals, the people, there were some of them murderers. They were having sex with other people. The Pope just couldn't marry them, and his son and his daughter poisoned people, and crazy.
One episode when they needed money for ships, and they were like, how can they get money? How are we going to get money? And he said, just tell them that the Virgin Mary appeared and watch all the pilgrims come. And that's all these people were going. And then along the way, they would sell rosaries and food, and people sell indulgences for their sins. And they made a fortune. And just because he said, a miracle happened. So the church controls things the same way that our governments control things, that, whatever, like Tanya was saying, whatever these trillion-dollar households who rule the world, whatever they tell these puppets to do, they do it.
Yep.
Remember they had some sort of a relic. They said, is it a real relic? He goes, it doesn't matter. Just tell them it is. And they'll come, they'll worship at it. They'll bring money. It will bring all kinds of money to the church. So it was showing how corrupt and the churches, a lot of them were the ones who tortured women and look at all the wars and things that have been, so I just wonder, and they've got the largest telescope, I believe the Catholic Church does. So why? I mean,
that is the shadow government of the world. That is the new, the Church of Rome is the new world order. So you want to talk about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers? That's who they answer to.
Really?
The whole world answers to the Roman Church.
It used to be they had more power than the government. They could, the kings had to answer to the church. And so it makes you wonder, because I'm learning. I'm still learning, but I don't know if it was the Rothschilds or the other ones you said. Was it the Rutherfords? Anyway, one of them was the ones who started the education system in the United States, and they were bankers. So the education system in the United States was started by bankers who have their best interest at heart, not ours. And they said history is a bunch of things that the higher ups have all agreed upon to teach us. It's an agreed upon history. It doesn't mean it's the real history.
The Economic World Forum every year, where they decide our fate. The handful of the rich and powerful who decide whether we're going to have a bull year or a bear year. This is all orchestrated by human people who are playing the lottery with our lives. And the only thing is, we allow them to do it because we keep giving them this power. Yes. They keep us down by keeping us separate, by keeping us poor, by keeping us sick, by keeping us wanting, consuming, eating. And as long as we can't control our primal urges to spend and buy and have more, until we stop that, they have control over a whole lot of people. But what's going on right now with everybody asking these questions and everybody coming to these, these awakenings, I'll use that word, waking up, what the right is so afraid of, people becoming enlightened, because the word woke, now they've ruined the word awake. Now we have to change that word to enlightened, because once you see what they're doing, you can't pretend, you can't unsee it. So you can't pretend and say, oh, that's okay, and fall back in line with it. So they're losing people. As people become enlightened, they're pulling away from the belief of these powerful people. They're fighting back. And this is why, and y'all, if everybody has been having a crappy last couple of days, it is because the energy is so concentrated. We are literally trudging through a swamp of dense negative energy right now, and it is playing out on the streets. It's playing out on road rage, murders, people dying, people having strokes and heart attacks.
We just had another shooting at a grocery store.
Yes, we are in. This is like the biggest ball of dark energy that we are in, but we're trudging through it. And we won't get through this, unfortunately, until after the Mercury retrograde is over in August. So it's, y'all be mindful. I know, but we have to go through this. This is a process. We are literally, we're peeling off. We're like a snake shedding our skin, and we have to walk through this, and all these layers have to get peeled off. So we're going to go through a whole lot of bad times for the next month and 2 weeks. But once we come out, it's going to be a brand new day, y'all. So don't focus on the negative. Focus on working on yourself, on laying down your troubles. Don't be worried about stuff. Breathe.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I know this ain't the show for that, but
that's all right. That's what we do. We start one place and we go wherever we want.
But this is a message that I feel that people have got to know. And this is urgent, because a lot of, and I have to say this, because a lot of people are going to go through emotional extremes.
Yes.
Normally sane people may freaking just lose their mind. And this is what I'm talking about. It is the next 45 days are going to be dangerous. I'm urging people, do not try to piss off other people. Control your anger on the road. There are going to be so many people driving around armed, and the people's common sense is going to be non-existent. Keep your middle fingers in your fists. Keep your voice at an even tone. Don't poke no bears. It is a dangerous time for the next 45 days. It is dangerous. I'm done.
I've been feeling the last couple days, I didn't know what it was, but I've been feeling like when you talked about trudging through mud, I've been feeling like that. I've had no energy. I've just not wanted to do anything. I just, one thing I'll tell you, and I might have told you this, Tanya, before, Miss Terrell D, I'll tell you, and I'm probably going to make me sound dumb, but who cares? I'm me. But when they talk about being woke, I remember watching this movie, and this is before I was into cards or any of this stuff. And I like watching, thriller and scary movies, not gory, but scary movies. And anyway, this one was called The Third Eye, this movie I watched, and it was talking about this girl. This is the Asian movie, and she had opened her third eye, and they said, well, once you open your third eye, you can never close it again, and you can never go back. And so she said she wanted to open it, and then she was seeing demons, and she was seeing all the scary stuff that nobody else could see. And I remember thinking, there ain't no way I want my third eye open. You just stay closed, because I'm thinking, I don't want nothing like that. So I really thought, is that what happens when somebody's third eye opens? But now I realize what they were talking about in real life is once you see things like we're talking about, once you see the world for what it is, the things that are hidden, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know things, you can't unknow them. And so it was kind of a different way of saying it. It's not that you see monsters and things, but you will, and that's what our government, when they say woke, it's like, what is the alternative? Being asleep? They want us to stay asleep.
That's what they want us to stay asleep. You can be controlled if you're asleep.
Yes. And Deann, I'm going to give you a little pow.
Uh-oh.
I never, ever, ever want to hear you refer yourself to as dumb.
Thank you. I know. I shouldn't have said that.
Dumb. You are so brilliant. You're an entrepreneur. You know so much about so many topics. You are so kind and loving. If anybody has that kind of negative attitude about you, well, then they can leave. They can leave. We don't need that negative.
But and I'll throw both of my middle fingers up to them.
Yeah, I am not friends with dumb people. And you're one of my dearest friends. So please never.
And I love you too. I feel like God has brought me here, and I have got to meet Tanya. I got to meet you. I have been so blessed to be able to meet people. And and when I'm starting this journey, it was a little scary for me, coming from, a very, coming from the church, coming from very religious, I have changed 180 degrees, but it's so nice to have people that I can talk to as I'm changing, as I'm learning and growing, and we're all learning and growing. I don't know if anybody thinks they know it all, then they're mistaken. There's nobody that does. And so, but I'm so grateful that I met you guys. But yeah, it's interesting how they say they want us not to be woke. Another thing I found interesting, I was looking at, Tanya, I went to a cookout, and they had, one of the girls had an emotional support dog. And I thought, how did you do that? And I was talking to her. I did not look anything up online. I did not look up anything on my phone. We were talking about it. I got home, and every email I have gotten email after email after email on emotional support dogs. I have gotten Facebook emotional support dogs. And I'm like, I never typed this in for it to be in the algorithm.
No, because your phone was listening to you. Your phone recorded your whole conversation. I have noticed, where's mine at? I have noticed on several occasions after I finish a video interview, a reading with somebody, that little red microphone at the top stays on for like 5 minutes after I've hung up. That is your phone just
a red
listening. Yeah, right on top of on the iPhone. When you're doing FaceTime, it has a green it has a green camera when you're doing FaceTime. But when it's recording and you're not videoing, where the little time is up there, there'll be a little red bar. And that means that your device is recording.
Do you
And
ever
you can't stop it. I had to turn my phone off to make that icon go away.
wow, I've seen YouTubers that said not YouTubers, TikTokers that said when they were discussing subjects like this, their channel would get taken off, the shows would be getting taken off, or they'd be, like there's certain things like this they do not want us discussing.
Nope.
And but that's too bad because, but there's people there's one guy who found a giant in the woods. He found the door. He's seen the face looking at it. It was huge. He was telling people how to get to it. They came knocking at his door. He ended up coming out and saying, "Oh, I lied about it. It wasn't true." And then his channel got taken down. So I do sometimes think, would they do that to us, talking about some of these things? But I am interested, and I think that it's interesting to talk about them. And so I want to just see if anybody in the chat here. Let's see. So putting masking tape over the lens. Oh, Psychic Awareness says put some masking tape over the lens. Let's see. What else? We got any other? Your phone listens to you, and so does your iPad. I wonder if your TV listens to you or watches you.
Smart TVs do.
Yes, that's why they call them smart TVs or smart ass TVs.
I'm sorry, but Siri has got to be the dumbest bitch on the planet. I can't stand my personal assistant.
Well, she can't understand me half the time.
Exactly.
So I just
you don't speak
we'll
English.
Have to go and we'll have to do this again.
At my job, I put a little post-it on my computer camera, just because I don't know if my own IT department is watching the offices and what. So I always put a little post-it, and then sometimes I forget it's there, and then during the Zoom meeting, they're like, "We can't see you. It's all fuzzy." I'm like, "Oh, give me 1 minute," But yeah, I think I was one of the last broads to get hooked up on a cell phone. I really stayed away from these iPhone things and whatever, and it wasn't until my husband forced me to. But I had one of those old flip phones where all you could do is text, and that was it. I didn't want to see your face. You didn't want to see my face. And Deanna, you saw my face the other day. I'm a very ugly looking person.
I was so happy. I was so happy, and you look like
now,
you live on the same.
You just told Deann not to call herself dumb, and here you are talking about your looks. So I'm gonna throw it right back at you. Don't you talk about yourself like that.
Hi, Tanya.
I love that fan. I love that fan. That is so cool.
What is BlackRock? Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride. We only got a couple of days left.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Now Miss Tarot D says where she lives over in New York that they have all kinds of parades and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
We don't have nothing here in Illinois that I've ever seen. In my whole life, I've never seen a parade or anything. So it must be just the big cities. I know you did in Las Vegas.
Let me tell you about my Pride celebration. It was last weekend. And guess what orange fat turd? We were in Sunset Park, which is one of the biggest parks in Henderson. It kind of straddles Henderson and Las Vegas. So Pride is on one side of the park, and Donald freaking fat orange Trump is on the other side of the park on the same day of Pride, doing his speech about, I don't care about you, I just want your vote. He said that right here in Las Vegas at Pride last weekend.
Yeah, I hope you don't get street stroke. I don't really care about you. I just want your vote. Actually says it out loud, and them dummies, I'm sorry, shouldn't say the word, but still, that's kind of ignorant to still vote for somebody when they're telling you who they are. you
Mhm.
know. And some lady, one of my subscribers, told me that in 2020 he was around a whole bunch of preachers, and he said, somebody said, are you the second coming of Jesus? And he said, yes, I am. And not one preacher corrected him or said that was blasphemous or said anything. I'm like, so he's got a lot of them. Some of those preachers too are bought and paid for. You see what they drive, you see the places they live, the rings they have on their fingers, all while they're asking the people on Social Security to give them their last dime, you know. So there's just a lot of corrupt people. And I used to watch these shows where it showed the what they call us, the peasants, and then they had the elites. And I think that's what they want to keep us as the peasants, and them rule us. So we're not going to let that happen, though. Hey, Hershey. Hey, Hershey, the shadow reader. Oh, by the way, we're getting ready to go, but you got to tell me, Tanya, real quick, what is Black Rock? One of the girls said something about Black Rock is what runs. And I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Black Rock is a quasi shadow government organization, but it's not run by the government. It's run by some very rich billionaires, but they run a quasi military group. They are the United States government let them annex, or they're like a third party to the military. It's a whole bunch of shady stuff. But the Black Rock runs military groups. They do dumps of ammunition in places. They're a gang that can't be prosecuted. That's what Black Rock is. They do criminal acts with a government stamp of approval. They unalive people. They take out government leaders. They blow up caravans. They take out people's supplies and supplies of their stuff. They are an agitator and a distractor. It's a government quasi underground criminal organization that's got the USDA stamp of freaking approval on it. It's a gang.
Oh.
It's a criminal. It's the American mafia is what Black Rock is.
Unreal. So people are waking up, and that's what they're afraid of. They don't want us waking up and all realizing this, because when we do, then that could be the end of them. When everybody sticks together and realizes we're all one, and quit being separate and letting them, that they're the real ones that are tearing us apart. I hope it happens, Tanya. I hope someday we all do stick together, because for years and years we haven't done it. You know, we're all more alike than we are different, you know? And I don't know. I hope so. I hope we wake up. Everybody wakes up.
They've been feeding us for centuries the lie that resources are limited and we all have to fight for a piece of that pie. When the reality is there's so much more out there and enough for everyone, where we don't have to fight for that, you know? I don't know if you, I remember when I was younger, someone told me this fable or a teaching or story, and I don't know if it's Confucius or Buddhist, whatever. And it's all about 4 people at a table, and they all have spoons, and the bowl is in the middle, and the spoon it's so big that they can't reach the bowl and then their mouth. So they're basically starving to death until they figure out that if they take the spoon and feed the person next to them and so on, that they can feed each other.
Yes. Yeah. If we'd help one another.
And I remember when I mean, that lesson in life stayed with me ever since I was a young child. It's like, you know, how do we take care of each other? How do we give to each other? How do we stop worrying about, oh my God, I need this for me today, and say, what does my neighbor need? You know?
Yes.
And I go back, we were talking about referring to COVID and how selfish people got around toilet paper.
Yes. You know, and everything, hand sanitizers, everything. You couldn't find it. They were hoarding it instead of sharing it.
Toilet paper was the biggest thing, because that was the one thing that everybody needed. and that's when a lot of fast food places started locking their restrooms, which just made it hard for everybody because people were stealing paper towels, they were stealing toilet paper from restrooms. But let me put this to y'all out there, because we are in the umbra of another pandemic. So Costco toilet paper, if for one person, will last you a good 6 months. So if you got a family of 4, get you 3 bundles of Costco. It'll last you half a year. If as long as you ain't got somebody that wraps their hand with it. It will last you. And the
Yep. And I started getting beans and rice.
I
the
think we
Costco toilet paper is still under $20 for that great big old pack. It is less than $20.
the rest of the
I'm
world
thinking
has they don't use toilet paper. They just have.
They have bidets.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean to sound vulgar, but we really became assholes about toilet paper.
Mhm.
You know, really.
We
It just
did. I was thinking, oh, I've got all these unmatched socks. Maybe I'll have a use for them. I was thinking I've got a whole drawer full of socks that don't have a mate that I keep holding. I'm like, maybe I'll need them.
Oh no.
But it was ridiculous. They were playing poker. People were playing poker, and instead of playing for cash, they were playing for toilet paper. It was crazy. Yeah, when they have t-shirts,
that shows how unprepared we Americans really are for anything major to happen. Americans, we are the one group of people who literally, besides 9/11, we have not gone through anything that the rest of the world has gone through. We have not seen full out wars, on our shores. We had the bombing on 9/11, and it was centralized, to 2 cities.
Yes.
We are not, and this is what is left. We have got to be, people have got to start thinking about their own preparedness. I mean, just having some water in your house, knowing how to boil a doggone egg, because we have a whole generation of people who have never cooked, have never shopped. Everything that they have eaten has been either they picked it up or it was delivered to them. And this is for real. We've got a whole generation of people who have no idea how to take care of themselves if the internet goes down.
No.
Yeah, you couldn't find bread either. And I tried to get flour. I thought, well, I'll make my own bread. Let me get some flour. I couldn't find flour. I couldn't get eggs. I couldn't find any of that stuff. So this time, since that happened, I have stocked up on rice. I've stocked up on dried beans, different kinds of dried beans, canned goods, things that if something happens, maybe it won't be the best tasting, but rice will fill me up. Beans will fill me up, just things like that.
Put away salt and put away sugar, because salt and sugar become money.
Yes.
If things go sideways, having salt and sugar is better than having gold, because that's something people actually want and will actually trade you well for. You could probably get a horse for a pound of sugar.
Oh, wow.
If things went sideways, a pound of sugar would make you one of the richest people in the neighborhood.
And didn't they say that can last for centuries, honey?
Honey does not spoil, does not rot. It is an antiseptic and antibacterial. It can cure a whole host of diseases. Yes, know what's important, ladies. That's why they tried to suppress the women, because women would, when we start to prepare for stuff, we don't just think about the flour. We think about the sugar. We think about the salt, because we don't want to eat no bad tasting bread.
Right. And that's why,
salt makes bread taste good.
And alcohol, rubbing alcohol, peroxide, baking soda, different things like that. You can do all kinds of things with them, make a lot of things with them. Plants, you can make tonics and make medicine with your plants. I'm taking a medical or herb class in October, and I'm going to learn how to make medicines and keep different herbs in stocks in jars, so that if I need to make different medicines, some of them I'll make tonics, but if I need to make teas or tonics and we're sick, and it'll be a medicine for us, because you might be where you can't get medicine. And I have pain issues. So what am I going to do? So I need to find out what herbs, what can I grow that would make a medicine. So yeah, that did teach us that we got to be more prepared. And it also taught us how selfish people can be in an emergency like that. There was a lady, and this last thing I'm going to say, she had a grocery cart full of, she took all of the, what do you call them, the sanitizers, put them all in her cart, took them all, was going to sell them on eBay, sell them for triple whatever she was going to sell them. And a little old lady, she wanted to know if she could have just one. She'd been all over to different stores. She was in her 80s, just one she needed. And she just laughed at her and was videotaping her on her phone. I thought it was funny, this old woman crying practically for a thing of hand sanitizer. And she was sitting on the bench and she started crying. And this lady asked her what was wrong. And she goes, I can't find them anywhere. My legs don't work like they used to. And I just can't walk anymore. And that lady over there, she said, she goes, I can't find them. She goes, I'll get you some. She threw the money in this lady's cart and she took a couple of them and she goes, there you go. And she looked at her, she goes, say something. Like,
I wouldn't, if she hadn't paid for them things yet, I would have took that one. And this is Tanya. This is ghetto Tanya. If I would have seen that happen in front of me, the woman with that cart would have been turned upside down. Everybody in Walmart would have had a heyday getting that stuff. And I would have sat on the lady who had the cart and I would have dared her to do something. Oh no, I would have too. That's some bull crap. And that's what we need to do. We need to stand up to bullies. If there's enough of us that are saying no, guess what? These horrible people will change their mind. But we got to be brave enough to use our voice. And that's what in 2020, everybody was all quiet. Oh, just letting people just walk all over us, including the government. And we just took it. We just took it.
Yep. And if one stands up, if you stand up, Tanya, or I stand up, if one stands up when we see something wrong like that, it inspires others to come and join in too. Because they've shown that when they would show, they'd show those TV shows where a certain situation, and as soon as one person came in and spoke up, then the rest of them came. Somebody'd steal a purse, everybody just sits there. Mississippi,
when those white boys was jumping on that black boy on that dock, and he got up and threw that hat down, and every black person jumped in the water was swimming. Oh, that was the best day of my life. That was the best day of my life, because that was people coming together, and it stopped a whole bunch of crap, because people. That's what they don't expect us to do. Those boys thought that they could, in front of everybody, just harass that man and walk away. They learned a lesson that day.
Yes. They thought he was an older black guy and he couldn't fight them. They were young, and I loved it. He threw that. It's like, is this a message or something? You throw your cap in the air, everybody
threw that hat in the air, and it's like the cavalry came.
And
the cops stood back and waited.
I feel we've really, the government and ourselves, because we have to take accountability for ourselves, we've become complacent. And I'm going to talk, because we are talking about pride, and I'm going to talk about the queer community. It's almost like once marriage equality passed, everything was fine. We don't stand up. We don't complain. It's like, oh yeah, now I can get married. I don't care anymore. But I remember, and Dana, you might not know about this because, you're a lot younger than I am. But when I was younger, I was a member of an organization called ACT UP. And ACT UP was, we were fighting for access to HIV medications and health because our community was dying, literally dying. And we were we weren't having colorful parades. We were having outright marches where we were carrying coffins in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and we were dying on the streets so people can see the death toll of how many people were dying. ACT UP, we were fighting for rights. We were fighting. I marched in Washington, D.C. in the 90s for one of the first queer marches in D.C. I led, but from my college, I put together a bus for queers and allies who wanted to go to Washington. And my husband and I, we marched for women's reproductive rights, domestic violence, queer rights. And it feels like, where is everybody now? Where is everyone? Our rights still being violated. Women's rights to their bodies have been taken away throughout the country.
Taking away birth control. Wanting to.
Well, right. I'll tell you what happened. What happened? You got to remember when did protesting in America become dangerous? Under Donald fucking, I'm sorry about my French.
You want to shoot him?
Trump. Yes, he did shoot them.
Under rubber bullets and hurt some people.
More Americans were hurt, killed, maimed. People were paralyzed. Remember that old man they pushed down in New York and then just walked over his body and didn't know. And when the one policeman tried to turn around, the other policeman grabbed him and made him walk past that. This is what's wrong with our country. People are afraid. People are afraid because there's no protection anymore. Our First Amendment right has been taken from us. And we don't seem to realize that. We got a whole bunch of people harping about the Second Amendment, but they haven't even realized that our First Amendment right has already been stripped from us. There's no more things such as free speech right here on this platform. You can't say certain American words or your channel could get flagged. That is a violation of freedom of speech. If you're just saying something for education, if you're not saying something to slight somebody else, a word is just that, a word. But they are criminalizing words.
Yes.
And we are on a slippery slope. That's why we've got to, everybody who can hear, extract yourself from the matrix. Do not invest your energy in stuff that does not affect your life. If what Donald Trump is doing don't affect you, what Joe Biden is doing really don't affect you. If it ain't putting food in your belly, if it ain't wiping your butt, if it ain't putting gas in your car, don't worry about it. Work on yourself and putting away all the things that make you scared. It's time to lighten yourself, guys. Lighten your load. Don't worry about stuff that don't matter. And don't worry about stuff that you cannot fix. If you can't fix it, why are you worried about it?
That's true.
That's an honest question. If you can't do nothing to make it better, why are you worried about it? There's nothing you can do. Worrying is only making you scared.
Yeah. And it's kind of like what Miss Taro D said, check on your neighbors. When it gets hot, check on them. Or if it gets too cold, check on them. If you got elderly people next door, you see their grass getting high and you're young enough and you can go help them. Because you're going to be old sometime too. You're going to maybe be, if we all just looked out for one another, ourselves and one another, what a wonderful world would be, but hopefully, and we do have to vote though. We can't let him get in because if he gets in, his own people, those MAGA people, what they don't realize, he will turn on them too. As soon as he gets in, he'll turn on them too. He won't need them no more.
So my dears, I have to take leave now
And
because
we have to go too because we are over time, and Tanya has her son that she has to get to see.
Yeah.
And I told Dale I'd just be an hour, but we had so much stuff that I didn't get to. So maybe we can get to it next time.
Yes,
And
let's
Miss
do it.
Tarot D, anytime you want to join us, you come join us. Okay, I mean it. When you feel up to it, when you feel like you can, you want to do a paranormal show? I know Tanya loves you too.
Open
We would
invite.
love to have you.
so much, you know that.
It's
but-
open.
And for those of
Any
you who
Friday.
Ginger Faye is broadcasting now, and she's inviting everyone to a pajama early birthday party. So if anybody's friends with Ginger Faye, she's such a sweetheart. I don't know if you all know her, but join her and, you know, wish her a happy early birthday. And, you know, I want to also thank Cosmic Orphan for joining us. He has the most amazing deck reviews. He finds decks I've never even heard of. I don't know where he finds these. And so if you ever get a chance, please go to his channel. I'm not really good at finding people's links. So Cosmic, can you put your channel on here? But please check out his yes.
And please, everybody, if you get a chance, go to Miss Tarot D's channel and please like and subscribe to her because she's amazing, great reader, wonderful person. Please subscribe to her. My friend Tanya here, she has Tea Time with Tanya every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10:10 on Monday and Wednesdays, 11:11 on Fridays. Personal readings, whatever you want to read about. She sells all kinds of cool mojo kind of sachet bags, room sprays, bath bombs. They're wonderful. They are the bomb. And check her out and help me. I'm trying to get to 6,000 now. So just please hit the like and subscribe button to help me get there. And every 1,000, I'll be giving away some stuff, some readings, some products, and just you know, we love being here with you guys, and we appreciate your support. We know a lot of you watch us and you don't subscribe. It really helps us out. It's free. It don't cost anything. So, but it really makes us feel good to know that you like what we're doing. So anyway, I better let you go. Oh, by the way, tomorrow come and see me at 1. I'll have Andre. The astrology. He changed his stand. It used to be Astrology Alert, but the name has changed and my brain isn't working. But Andre, you all know who Andre is. He's a brilliant astrologer. He's going to be on. We'll be talking politics tomorrow at 1 Central. So anyway, so I better go and let you guys get going, and I'll go check out that channel, Miss Tarot D, after I get my jammies on. Okay, bye everybody. Thank you. See you later.
Awesome.